Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Tawasin, and Kwantlen people, and that we are guests in the territory of the Indigenous peoples of this land. Today's workshop will be led by Allison and myself. The first half of the workshop will be a brief introduction to mindfulness-based art therapy. Participants will continue to be on mute, but you can raise a question in the chat box or use the raise hand function in your control panel at the top or bottom of the screen. We will try to answer questions along the way, but if it can wait till the end, we will have a question and answer section that is open to all. As we will be doing some art exercise later, please make sure you have a few pieces of blank paper, black and colored felt markers, and a table to work on. So let's begin, and allow me to introduce myself to you. My name is Wingxi, and I work at RCRG as the Caregiver Navigator. In terms of art, I have grown up dabbling in different kinds of art, from drawing, coloring, and pottery to piano, violin, and drama classes. I can't think I excelled at any of them, but I did learn to appreciate different kinds of art, and this led me to pursue a bachelor's degree in arts management at the University of Toronto. I enjoy making things with my hands, such as cooking, crafting, painting, and even something like gift wrapping. Now I'll let Allison, our summer student, introduce herself to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Allison and I am the summer co-op student this year at RCRG. I'm really glad to have this opportunity to join this workshop and have fun with all of you guys later. So let me talk a bit more about myself. I'm in my second year at SFU, majoring in psychology, and I'm hoping to do something that is related to art and psychology in the future. So I'm positively considering art therapy, the art therapy field for my future career. Since I was small, I've developed an interest in art. Both of my parents found out that I really like carrying my sketchbook around and then drawing doodles when I was a kid. So I started to attend drawing classes since I was 8 years old. And drawing has always been my favorite hobby. So I took art classes both inside and outside of school. And as I grow older, I find drawing really relaxing and stress relieving. And it helps me to forget about my worries for a while and boost up my mood after I see the finished art piece. And through this workshop, I hope all of you can release stress through art as well. And it's because it's all about enjoying the process. So on this slide are some of my artworks. My favorite art medium is watercolor, but I also enjoy doing sketches and acrylic paintings. And currently I am an art instructor at a daycare center. I teach children from 4 to 11 years old, and I really enjoy teaching them using art to express themselves and encouraging them to think creatively. And I also tell them to draw whatever they want, because at the end, you might be surprised at how nice your drawing will turn out. And I'm just gonna briefly talk about my artwork. And on the top left corner, as you can see, I ripped off a page of a magazine. And by using dots, I did a portrait. And you can see the lighter parts have less dots and the darker parts have more dots, so that way you can really tell where the light and dark parts are. And then on the right top corner, it says portrait as well, using pencils. And on the bottom left corner, it's a watercolor piece, and the top one, it's supposed to be a moon, and the bottom one is the sun. So I hope you guys can tell. And on the bottom right corner, it's actually a watercolor painting. It looks like acrylic, but I tried using watercolor to explore using different mediums. So Yeah, instead of except of watercolor and sketch, I also do a lot of artwork in different mediums. So if I were an art therapist, then I would tell my clients to explore different mediums to express their feelings.
Great, thanks so much, Allison.
No problem.
So Allison, since you're looking into becoming an art therapist, could you explain to us what is art therapy?
Yeah, sure. So to some people, they may think art therapy is a form of treatment. And yes, in the 1940s, this became a popular form of psychotherapy where a therapist would analyze the art that you create and often asking you to draw what you saw in your dream and to develop insight into psychological issues and emotions. However, neither Wingsy nor myself is trained in art psychotherapy, so we will not be analyzing your art today. We also don't need to do analysis to get the benefits of art therapy, as it can also be a form of self-expression. It opens up communication that extends beyond verbal language, and it is helpful for people both young and old who find it difficult to express what's inside of them.
So instead, we want to let you know about mindfulness-based art as therapy. So let's start with art as therapy. This is to use the process of creating art to allow people to express themselves and release emotions that they have been holding inside. It is not about the end product you create, and it's not about trying to decipher what it could mean subconsciously. We also want to bring aspects of mindfulness to the processes we create. The concept of mindfulness originates from Buddhist practice and reflects a focus on awareness of emotion, physical sensations in the body, and consciousness. You may have experienced being so immersed in an activity, be it gardening, cooking, making art, or writing in your journal, that you've lost track of time. This happens because creative activities ease us into a process of focus, concentration, absorption, and flow, which is similar to the process you may experience when you meditate. The purpose of this workshop is to help you engage in a creative process of making art mindfully. But some of you may already be thinking, I'm not artistic, or I'm not good at art. I also have those thoughts. Yes, even though I enjoy the arts, I don't think I'm good at it. But don't worry, because for what we have planned today, you don't have to be the best at painting or sketching lifelike portraits. We're doing things with lines today, and you don't even have to be able to draw a perfectly straight line. It can be a bit wobbly or tilted, and that's okay. So one more thing before we start. Here are some practical ways to practice mindfulness while creating art. Look at the things in front of you. What tools have you prepared? Is it a favorite pen or tool? How does it feel in your hand? What colors have you selected? Which area of the paper or artwork catches your attention? And before and after you work on your art, take notice of how you feel psychologically and physically. If you live with chronic pain, notice how your pain changes as you create art. So before we start on the art, we're going to do a grounding exercise. So this is part of the mindfulness part of it. And this is, it's a time for you to quiet down other distracting thoughts and just focus on what we are doing now. You may find that if you focus on your breath, you will feel it slow down and deepen. And you may hear your breath as well. So we're going to change the view over to the camera view, and so that you can see while we work together with you. So Also going to play a little bit of calming music in the background. And while Allison So let's put a piece of blank paper on the table in front of us and have our pencil, pen, and markers ready on the side. Sit comfortably in your chair. Place one hand on the paper. Close your eyes and just breathe. Notice if you're feeling any discomfort in your body. Now press down into the paper's surface. How does the paper feel through your fingertips and palm? How much pressure are you exerting through your hand? Now slowly open and close your fingers on the paper. How does that feel? Now open your eyes and pick up your pencil or pen and trace the shape of your hand onto the paper. Keep your hand in place even when you're done and close your eyes again. Notice how your hand feels connected to the surface. As you feel connected to the surface, feel your connection below your own surface. What emotion are you feeling right now in this moment? Where in your body do you feel that emotion? Can you connect this area to your hand? Now slowly open your eyes and Allison will show you how to use colored markers and lines to make a simple artwork. During this time, you can also unmute yourself to ask any questions.
Okay, so now that you've traced your hand already, let's use markers to draw horizontal lines on the paper. And I'll use a green marker to draw horizontal lines from the top to the bottom. Okay, so if you have any questions, just write it down in the comment section, then we can see it. So I'm gonna draw horizontal from the top to the bottom. Slowly. So the lines have to be, try to have the lines evenly apart. And draw it slowly. And when you see the traces that you made earlier, then draw a little thumb from one side to another side. and then continue the straight line. So here I see the traces that I made earlier. So I draw a small another.
So anytime you come across the outline of your hand, you'll turn it into a bump. So now here we don't have any fingers here, so I'll just draw a big from the left side of your hand to the right side of your hand. Okay, so I'm done with the first color. So after that, I'm gonna repeat the same thing, but using a different color marker. I use yellow. And then you can draw it either on the top of the green line or at the bottom of the green line. So I think after Allison did the first lines in green, it's a lot easier to probably follow along. And as you're doing the artwork, maybe listen to also if it's making any sounds. Allison's one is making some sounds right now. Seems like she's pressing down really quite hard on the marker. Are you feeling stressed or anything, Allison?
Yeah, that's true. I'm kind of stressed. Try, like while drawing the lines, try to not think of anything. To let your brain take a rest. Let your mind take a rest from everything. And just focus on the lines that you're really drawing. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to do the third color. And I'm going to draw it under the green line. So it's okay that your lines are not perfectly straight, because my lines are not as well. And lastly, I'm going to use pink on top of the yellow line. Basically done here. So as you can see, the hand is kind of like popping out of the paper because we drew bumps where we see the traces. So the hand, yeah. So the hand kind of pops out from the paper after us drawing the bumps. So while I was doing this, I found it really relaxing, and I didn't have to think of anything while drawing these lines. So I hope your drawings are successful as well. And maybe you guys can show us your drawings by
sending us an email, or take a photo. If you're done as well at the same time as us right now, then you can take a photo and share it in the chat as well. Yeah, so I really like the colors you used today. Was there any particular reason why you picked those colors, or you just randomly picked them?
I just follow my feelings and emotions. So usually green is peaceful. So I started with green first, and then blue. I just think it would suit green well, so I picked the blue and yellow because I guess I'm happy to join this workshop. So I pick bright colors. So I want to pick bright colors to make my drawing stand out more. So I chose yellow and pink because it's also a bright color. So I think I chose pink and yellow because I'm feeling happy right now. So
that's good. And I also like how you made use of white as a color as well here. So yeah, that's really interesting because at first I would thought I would fill it all up with color, but using white as one of your colors is an interesting choice.
So Wednesday did one beforehand as well, and he filled up all the side space, and it turns out really good as well.
Yeah, so this was our test one before the workshop. See how it turns out. So you can also try different thickness of the markers. I used the thinner one, and Allison today she used a thicker one, so you can see how that works out for you. And then we have a second art exercise. So this one is something called line illusion, and so this is just using lines, although it doesn't look like you're using lines, but this is all just made up of lines drawing in almost like a triangle kind of direction, and then you can either leave it black and white, or you can color it in with color pencils, markers, however you like. So we can show one. And then so maybe I'll give Allison directions, or she can try it too. So first of all, on the sheet of paper, draw a rectangle just along the border of the paper. So yeah, the line doesn't have to be straight, but if you want a really, really straight line, you can also use a ruler. That's okay as well. You can turn the paper so that it's easier for you to draw the lines. And then next, you're gonna draw a diamond shape that touches all the middle lines of the border that you just drew. And again, it doesn't have to be a perfect diamond. It could be a kite shape. And then within that diamond, you're going to draw something like a square or a rectangle that again touches all the middle of each line of the border of that diamond. Okay, and then from there, you'll start working from the most outer rectangle. So you can pick any line to start with, and usually you just start at the very end of the line and you go over that first line a bit, and then you go a little off until you reach a border. Yep. And then you just continue that line until you reach the other border. And then again, the same thing, when you draw across, you kind of go over that first border. Yeah, just like that, and you just keep going across. So the one we're doing today is a little different from the one picture that we just showed you of the finished one. So this one is a new kind of pattern. Yeah. And then you keep going, so you go back onto the first line that you drew on the left, and then you'll go over the, so from here, you'll start here and you'll go over a little, and then you'll go back. Yeah, and you can make these lines as wide as you like, or as close together as you like. When you feel that you don't have any more room in that square or rectangle, you can go onto the diamond. Yeah, you just continue doing those lines. Yeah, you just find any line to start with. Yeah. And when you're ready, you can do a square. You start from the corner and you go, try to go with the line, yep, like that. You continue drawing those lines until it gets very, very small and kind of disappears. Get a corner and you can just draw that. Okay, and then when you can't make any more new lines, then you can either decide if you want to leave it as a black and white artwork, or if you want to color it, then you can decide what kind of color you want to fill in the spaces with. Okay. So now we are done showing you today's artworks. We have about 10 minutes left till the end of this workshop. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm going to unmute all of you, so you can feel free to just speak up if you have any questions.